Hi there, folks. Welcome to Split Bill Daily Interview. I'm Bill Poss, and I'm your host, as I am every day. Got some exciting announcements today to make, and some developments. We will be interviewing. Our guest today will be Mr. Neil Salsich from the Mighty Pines, and I can see him backstage. I can see him backstage, and hopefully he can see what we're doing. He's, I believe, calling in from St. Louis, Missouri. We'll talk about that later, but that's, I think, where he's from, that area. But it's time for me to start with the song. And somebody asked me yesterday if I could make an effort to make my hands more visible when I'm playing. So I'm trying to do that. So I'm cutting out part of my head, I realize. But I'm trying to do this so that people can see what I'm doing with my hands. This is a song called Heaven, and I wrote this in Germany. I had the music for it that I ripped off a Slade Cleave song, anyway, long story, but I wrote it in Germany and I brought it back, and it became the lead track on the album Jackrabbit and Other Love Songs, which was my #1 selling all-time record. I believe that record has sold more than all of my other records put together. So, not to brag or anything, I'm just saying. In my own personal competition of records, it's #1. All right, this is Heaven. I'm going to send this out to my friend Susie up in Port Dover. This is her favorite Bill Poss song, and so I always put it out to her if I can. Well, I ran out of gas at Eagle Pass, so close to the big brown line. All I packed was a guitar in a sack and a bottle of cheap red wine. On the corner I sat with a quarter in my hat. I was trying to make some change. She walked by with a look in her eye. That's when things got strange. Across the street, in a crowd of feet, 2 dice rolled up 11. 2 beady eyes full of pain and lies in the car with the engine revving. In she went to the local 10-cent store. She came back out in a minute. She threw $1 in my hat, said, "Take a look at that." Then she walked to the car and got in it. So I looked at the note, I saw what she wrote as the car rolled across the Rio. It said, "I marry a man with blood on his hands, Saturday night in Salsich." I should have known better than to try to go get her. It was trouble made to order. But I sold my guitar, gassed up the car, and I headed straight for the border. I broke my parole the minute I rolled past the office of Broke my parole the minute I rolled past the office of immigration. The Texas state line was a prison of mine for the rules of my probation. My dear sweet wife had lost her life in the fight to send me to jail. The cop had run in front of my gun, and the judge, he held me without bail. No job, no wife, no house, no life. I could leave and never look back. I had 24 hours to find that flower. I followed along her track. Yes, I went down to that mountain town. I parked somewhere in the middle, but churches abounded as I walked around looking for clues of that riddle. I found their car. It was parked not far from the church with a mission for the poor. The priest there said I could work for a bed, and he had me mopping the floor. They were bringing in flowers. It was just 2 hours till the wedding bells would chime. They were bringing in chairs and tables to the square, and I was running out of time. When I could tell the wedding bell was about to take its toll, the ladies in wait had met their date. She was about to take that stroll. I left the limo driver barely alive, and I pulled it up to the door. I said, this is your chance to ditch this dance, but you can't come back no more. From inside there, all they saw was her hair as she shook out the pins in the veil. She hopped in the car and we got real far. They never did catch our trail. Now somewhere in the street, a crowd of feet, there's two guys rolling up 7 as we drive around this coastal town looking for a place to call heaven. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the song called Heaven.
Wow, I'm in awe.
How are you?
Good, man. Good to talk to you, Bill.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Hey, great to be here. Great to be here. I hope it's not too bright behind me. I got a bunch of white walls in a new house.
Well, you should wear. You should wear orange makeup. It would make you really pop. You know.
You need to be my makeup artist then. I'm hiring.
So I always tell people when I talk about that song that if you're going to start a song with internal rhymes, be prepared for a long, hard job. That can be really challenging.
Yeah. The old, I'm a slave to the rhyme scheme, so I don't know how to break away from it, even though there's many great songs that don't abide by the old rhyme scheme. Yeah.
Well, I robbed that song. I robbed essentially from a Slade Cleave song called "Breakfast in Hell," and it was a song about logging in Canada. So my song is called "Heaven," which is opposite, and it's in Mexico, which is kind of the other direction. So I feel like it's far enough away. Also, mine has a happier ending than his. But anyway, his had an internal rhyme scheme, so I kind of felt obliged to do it. And anyway, I liked the way it turned out. I was happy with the result, but it was a lot of work.
Well, I'm a fan of his music, and you're right. The only stuff that I've heard is very sad, but pretty splendid stuff. I'm a Pond Waters fan of his. I haven't gotten down to the bottom yet, but I've heard some stuff that my favorite song is "Without Her," I think it's called.
I know that one.
Yeah, I don't know what album it's on. And in these days of algorithmic streaming radio, it popped up on it popped up one of these days. But ooh, man, I've saved that one and I've gone back to that one. So look that one up by the great Slade Cleaves.
Yeah, he had a. I'll check it out. He had a record that I just absolutely loved. I think the album was called "Broke Down." The hit was "Broke Down," but it was from about 2000 and 2001, I believe. But if you want to really get a good taste of first taste of Slade, that's the album that I recommend. But live at the Horseshoe Lounge is another one that gives you a nice broad look at them. But anyway, how are you doing?
Doing as good as I can be during all this. I'd say that's pretty good. I'm lucky to have my health intact and a roof over my head and dry clothes and a bed and food in the pantry. So, and yeah, I got my secret wish to come true, which is to never have to go anywhere or do anything. So.
Congratulations.
The inner hermit inside of me, which has all along been, is finally able to break free. And I've it depends on your mood or what kind of maybe avenues you're tuning into, but there's a beauty to the to a little bit of a slowdown, I think, and not everyone has that sort of life, but musicians, I think, have that right now because the whole industry has pretty much ceased for the moment. So we got a lot of time on our hands.
Came to a screeching halt for us, didn't it? We had to adapt.
March 15th. I'll never forget that day, 2020, because that was the last day that I gigged, before. And then on March 16th, Monday morning, it was, clean calendar after that. And it's still like that.
So you guys are working on a new record, though.
Yes, it's finished. We
It's done. It's in the can.
we were able to wrap it up right before all this hit the fan, so that's good. And it's in the pipeline, and it's we're putting some singles out and ramping up, and it's a little crazy. It's not how we imagined to release the record. We had a whole big tour in the works, and lots of festivities and celebrations around it, and it's gonna get more of a soft release, but it's coming out soon.
So it was produced by Jason Berlin?
Steve Berlin.
Steve Berlin, I'm sorry. His brother, right.
The engineer's name was Jason, but I don't know how you'd know that, but that's some sort of cosmic musical action happening. But yes, Steve Berlin of Los Lobos. We hired him to produce our record. Yeah, it was so cool, and it really, you can hear that we stepped up our game, and it wasn't just because of Steve, but we were arriving at a greater heights as individuals and musicians and bandmates and all that stuff. But you mix that in with the first time that we were working with the producer, and at a great studio in St. Louis, Sawhorse Studios, it all just came together, and it's a great sounding record.
That's awesome. So Los Lobos, they're out of LA, right?
Yeah, but Steve is based in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so as I've observed, you really made it in a band when you can live in a different city than your bandmates, and just hop on a plane and meet up at the shows. And the Mighty Pines are far from that still, but that will be cool to get there one day and think. I love St. Louis, so it's hard to imagine ever leaving. But hey, if I wanted to move to Effingham, for example, I could. And
you'd be welcome here.
I know it, and I think I'd love it personally. But
well, can we get you to play a song off the new record?
Yeah, I'd be.
Is that allowed?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We put out a new single on Friday, a week ago today. It's called "Thoughts Come Rushing," and oh look, I have my guitar ready to go. How about that? Yeah, this single came out last Friday, and super proud of it. Here it goes. It's called "Thoughts Come Rushing." What the hell am I fighting for? Whose war am I ending? I don't even know the score. Which knee am I bending? If you had a choice, which fields will you be tending? I'm asking, can you hear my voice? Hear the message I'm sending, that I'm off on my own, and I made up my mind. There's a pain in my heart, I laid it on the line. This time, laid it on the line. This time, and I'm feeling fine. In this desert state of mind, thoughts come rushing in. Some are hateful, some are kind, but none are innocent. Well, I tried it again, and I made it this time. There's a pain in my heart, I laid it on the line this time. Laid it on the line this time, and I'm feeling fine. We go.
That's a beautiful song.
Thank you. Thanks, Bill. I'm proud of that one. It's so strange to play it alone here in my house and hear all of my bandmates making noise in my head right at these different times. But it's also a unique beauty to just play it stripped down, and I'll enjoy it. So thanks for the opportunity.
Did you write that yourself, or did you have help? Or
yeah, I would say that was a pretty fully formed song. However, there's just no way it would be as great as it arrived without my bandmates, and without the Steve in the mix. And we had a great sort of co-producer, if you will, named Rob Gordon, who is the president of our management company. And he's just a wonderful guy and a great musical ear. And he was in the mix too, helping us caress these songs down. So,
right on. That's wonderful.
Yeah,
hey, I'm gonna take a second to ask anybody who's listening. This is that portion of the show where I ask you to chime in and let us know where you're listening. I know Barry Gilbert's up in Chicago. I know that one, and JJ's in my living room. So I want to say also, if you want to share this, we get to your friends if you share it then. So we'd love it if you just hit that little button, hit share, and go. People can always listen later, but it's kind of fun to have them listening live and making comments and asking questions. So where are you listening from? Jacob Ingram, Tim Ryan. I know where Andy Evans is. So also, I have a couple of announcements real quick. Next week, I have the next week's calendar. Well, it's tentative still. We're still waiting on one person, but the tentative calendar for next week is Monday. The banjo great Kyle Tuttle will be joining me, and he's something, isn't he? Right? And then someone made a comment yesterday that they'd never heard someone play the 5-string banjo well. Well, tune in Monday, and you will hear it.
I'm sick of banjo jokes. Okay. I'll defend the banjo.
And if you don't like the banjo, then on Tuesday, join us. We have songwriting legend, Americana music legend, Mary Gaucher on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we have from Bloomington, Illinois, or thereabouts, I believe, Edward David Anderson, great Illinois talent, songwriter, performer, and former lead man in Backyard Tire Fire. Then on Thursday, we have local legend Matt Poss. That's my brother. Matt Poss will be joining us on Thursday to tell some stories and sing some songs. And then on Friday, we have a new segment for Fridays from now on. We're going to be calling it Fan Friday, and I'm going to have 2 or 3 different music fans, just dial them in and just discuss what they're listening to and what they like about the various festivals that they go to, which festivals they like, and that sort of thing. Speaking of festivals, Neil Salsich, last time I saw you was at the Summer Sundown Music Festival in Effingham, Illinois at Lake Sarah. And right. I was really surprised at your sound. The sound was less to me, I think of you guys as a bluegrass band with a drummer. That last show was not. I mean, it was not a bluegrass show. It was much more than that, and I really liked it a lot. Not that I love the bluegrass stuff. I'm saying I think it was a really cool show, and I hope that the new record's going to reflect that sound.
Yeah, thanks for saying that, Bill. I'm in the same boat with you. I mean, I love bluegrass too, and we started that way. The band did, for sure, a bluegrass band with a drummer. But once we just got more stuff under our fingers and more idea, we've always been interested in so much music, and just the band just started as one thing, but it's sort of makes sense that it's just growing and becoming really just more of a rock band, without electric guitars, of course, but that doesn't stop us from rocking out.
Yeah, it felt a little bit like old school string cheese or something to me. And
yeah, that's a big influence on us.
Okay, well.
And yeah, people think of them as like, I think the word bluegrass is in the has become sort of way misunderstood, because obviously things can change and morph, and I think that's great. But I just, in the pop culture sense, people now just see a banjo on stage or see a mandolin, and it's like it's bluegrass, and
Right.
and I even used to think that, and then I started to play some real bluegrass musicians, and I had a moment where I looked at my fingers and looked at my guitar and thought, wow, okay, I don't play bluegrass, because bluegrass is like heavy metal kind of instruments. I mean, it's a cardio workout of music, and
it's a real specific thing.
The most respect for it in the world.
I'm trying to look at my phone so that I can see the comments, because people are commenting. It says somebody from Indianapolis, Melissa Crafton. Okay, hi Melissa. Someone from Carol from Cedar Point, Kansas. No, Carol. Carvel, Alberta. That must be Patty Helton. Yep. We got Doug Winters from Altamont. Back from Kansas. I'm not sure. Oh, Kansas City. Okay, Kansas City. Effingham, Urbana, Denver. Okay, that's what I got.
Wow, great spread.
Yeah. It's Carvel, Alberta is a long way away.
Yeah, that is. Right. Wow. I hope they become a Mighty Pines fan after this. We'll be very honored.
Tim Ryan says, Neil saw you at the Blackbird last fall. I'm from St. Louis Metro East area, friends with Sean C., and saw you a number of times at the Oyster Bar. Love the tunes. I stumbled in the backstage,
my friend.
I stumbled into the backstage of one of your shows one time. I kind of barged in. You guys were taking a break. What's that place? I think it was the Oyster Bar. And you were playing like a 90s show or something? I want to say it was on Halloween night.
Yeah. I remember that.
You don't remember that?
No, go ahead. Cut you off.
Well, I was just reminded that you guys do some real specific theme shows, like the 90s show. And then there's another adjacent group or something that does some of this kind of stuff. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. On Halloween, we've moved it to New Year's which is awesome, and it outgrew the Oyster Bar, so we moved it to a bigger venue in St. Louis. But the Mighty Pines have done a 90s themed extravaganza, which is incredibly fun. And I was talking to you once about it, Bill, actually at it's the pub in Effingham that Mighty Pines played at in December.
Oh, yeah.
The Office.
Yeah. The Office, right.
We played there with Taylor Steele. Really fun show. That was maybe 2 years ago. But we were talking about it, and I was name checking the songs and the bands that we played, and you like, it was over your head or like under your feet. It's like this. It was the late 90s pop stuff that you had mentioned to me that you heard John Prine 91, and it was like you kind of turned off the radio after that. So we do a lot of this. Yeah, I guess it's just the stunning memory of whenever I see you, Bill, and your beautiful face, and it just imprints,
Yeah, right.
everything into.
Yeah.
But I remember that night at the Oyster Bar weirdly because I'm pretty sure Barry Gilbert was there, and I think he's watching right
Yeah,
now. And he was one
he
of my
was.
student. He was one of my students at the time, and I was like, why? Like we're playing like Green Day songs on Halloween, and everyone's like Three Sheets to the Wind, and here's like this rockin' old guy Barry and Bill Paws from like Effingham. It was just like this magical, surreal moment, and I was a couple drinks deep, and like dressed up in a crazy costume, and I'm just like, what is going on here? But anyway, we love our '90s show, and it's kind of a cool moment, I think, musically because it's totally not what you'd expect from the Mighty Pines. Like we'll have electric guitars, we have special guests play, we play Nirvana songs, we play like uh, Counting Crows, REM, and like pop stuff. It's pretty wild, but it's cool and fun. And I will say, as a musician, man, now I realized how much of a snob I was sometimes because I'd be like, oh my God, we're going to learn like this song. Are you kidding me? What a joke. And then, for example, Still the One by Shania Twain. We played that this year on New Year's. And I was like, whatever. It's kind of candy. Now, I'm putting headphones on, listening to this song and like the production and just the mastery of the whole track. And I'm thinking, wow, I didn't know Smack because it's a perfect pop track, and it's turned me on for sure to the discipline of great pop music, and I think that the whole band feels that way too, and I think part of that informed our new record, which we are very proud of. So it's just a cool moment, I think, as a musician to realize that some of that stuff on the radio or like that was on the charts even today, I think still can be some pretty awesome stuff. But if you grow up sort of on underground jamming, you start to write it off, and I think a little bit unfairly. So
Yeah. JJ has been learning how to play the guitar, and the last song she picked up was a Shania Twain song. And it drives me a little crazy because it's so infectious. It just gets stuck in my head. But that was a guilty pleasure of mine in the early '90s was Shania Twain, and that was
it's just good stuff. It's good stuff. Can't deny it.
So I should, if I'm going to stay on schedule, I should ask you to play another song, if you don't mind. But I'm going to also take this moment to remind or let everyone know, if they don't know, and remind them if they did know, that the Mighty Pines are scheduled for Summer Sundown in September, the 19th, I believe, of September. The weekend is 18th through the 20th, so it's one of those days. But I'm pretty sure it's on Saturday night, and I'm pretty sure you guys are headlining with some other great bands. I think Handmade Moments are also locked in. And there's some more talk. Oh, Taylor Steele and the Love Preachers will be there for that too. So Garrett Burris says, wait, there may or may not be a Shania Twain tribute happening at Summer Sundown this year. What? That's an announcement, isn't it?
Okay, I want in.
Garrett? Oh, yeah. Yeah. You hear that, Garrett? Neil says he wants in. What up, Neil?
Garrett Burris is tuning in. The junior king of the Effingham music scene, right behind Bill Paws.
I'm sure he's going to love that. Yeah. Well done. Thank you for that. All right. Having a song, Neil.
All right. This is also on the new record. It's the last song on the album chronologically, and it hasn't released yet. So it's a little bit of a sneak peek. And this is kind of perfect for this interview session because more than anything I've written, I consider this kind of a songwriter song. It's short, sweet, and to the point. It's called Your Town, and it's started writing this one in Boulder, Colorado, and it kind of followed me around the country a little bit. And it's about passing through a town and someone that means a lot to you, lives there, and you can't quite say hi to him or reach out anymore, but you're in the same town. So that's what inspired this one. Here we go. Passed through your town last night. The thoughts about you, they put up a fight. I looked for your face on every woman in sight. When I passed through your town last night, I picked up your picture today. I thought about calling, I thought I could stay. We'd probably get our signals crossed anyway. So I passed on through your town today. When I'm sinking deeper in doubt, I keep searching for the sound, always seeking, looking around. Each time I pass through your town, every time I pass through your town, I'm here in your town again, looking around and remembering when we walked these same streets and I called you my friend. I'm here in your town again. I'm sad about you and me, but sure as stone, it's the way it should be. Lonely as hell, but happy I'm free. I'm here in your town tonight. I keep sinking deeper in doubt. Steady my feet on some solid ground. Hold my head up when I'm looking around. Each time I pass through your town, every time I pass through your town.
Thank you. That's a beautiful song.
Oh, thank you, Bill.
I love that it's about Boulder, Colorado, one of my favorite towns to visit.
Yeah, just a specific memory about writing that song up on the Chautauqua trails, looking down into the town, and the sun was shining. And a lot of times, songs come to me on long walks or like bike rides, something kind of repetitive, and like you're just doing it for a while, and all of a sudden, your energy, you burn off your energy, you burn off like the kind of energy, whatever thoughts you have, and like you get into that meditative state, and that's where a lot of my songs start popping out.
Yeah, I love the feeling. A long bike ride almost always gets me going with an idea of some kind. It could be a song or it could be a business thing or whatever, but it clarifies things for me. I'm not sure why, but you've got something.
I always start a bike ride all excited, maybe I've had like my morning coffee. I put in the headphones, and like the first half, I'm just listening to music and cruising. And then, just like in the car, I mean, for me, after an hour or two, my ears need a break, and I'll just pull out the headphones and start to just them, and clarity happens, and it's a really cool thing.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I wrote actually the song that I wrote that I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, that Jack Rabbit and Other Love Songs album sold me the most records of any record that I've my 5 records that I've made, and the song Jack Rabbit is the reason for that. And I wrote that in Boulder, Colorado. I don't have any
Wow.
I don't have any recollection except that I went to the Boulder Mall, the Pearl Street Mall, after like the next day after I wrote it, and I was playing it, and there was a fiddle player, and I said, "You want to hear a new song?" And he said, "Yeah." So I played it for him. He's like, "That's a classic bluegrass song right there." And I was like, "Not really, because it's got like 5 chords and it's all over the place." And he's like, "Well, let's learn it." So he sat there and learned it, and we played it. That's my memory of writing a song in Boulder. And so I hope that song sells you as many records as Jack Rabbit sold me. Thanks for the sneak preview.
Well, that reminds me of my first encounter with you, which was watching you on stage in Denver at Cervantes with Chain Station.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. You were playing it. We were on the bill the same night. This was
Right.
the precursor band to the Mighty Pine. I don't know if we were called the Mighty Pines yet, but we were playing. I mean, I remember that night, and we got a copy of your CD, and the name escapes me, but I think there was some aquatic theme on the cover, possibly.
Oh, yeah.
Like undersea. And that was listened to quite a bit in our old clunker of a van, bopping around the country. So
right on, man.
I don't know what happened to it. I don't know. I think every CD after about a year it was like a horror scene on the back of the CD, gashes and scratches everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's probably bit the dust, but we enjoyed it for quite a while.
Well, I'm familiar with that effect. Yes. I lived in my truck for about 6 years or so, 7 years, and everything, not just the CDs, ended up that way eventually. There's even the truck. Yeah, there was not one undented piece of it after that period of time. So, do you enjoy you mentioned that you enjoy being a hermit. Do you enjoy the road?
You cut out right at the end there. I got some weird connection, so it's a little choppy. But say that again.
You said that you enjoyed being a hermit. I'm just wondering if you enjoy the road, being on the road.
Oh, I do. I do very much. I do. I mean, there's nothing. I like being a hermit, but I like the downs of life right now, but I like the ups of life on the road too. And I love the touring lifestyle because I like that ebb and flow of going out on the road and playing and socializing and just all that sort of. It's very up, and then you get to come home after a tour and climb into bed and shut the door and just kind of live a different lifestyle for a little bit. So I like that. But yeah, I love the road, and I miss it very much. I'm starting to feel the wanderlust kicking back in again. I'm like, man, I'm ready to get in the van with the guys. I'm ready to play shows again, and miss it. It's just a great. I hope to do it forever.
Can you clue us in, because one of the things that people engaged in the troubadour life have that can share with us is like a club or a festival or a venue or something that you can tell us about somewhere in the either in the United States or Canada where people should know about. Like I would say, if you were somewhere else, you could say Moccasin Creek Festival, but like, is there a special festival to you that we should know about?
Yeah, well, you cut me off there. I was definitely going to say Moccasin Creek and Summer Sundown.
Thank you.
But in all honesty, actually, I think you got something really special there, and I loved Summer Sundown. And if another interview with someone else out in whoever, and they ask me this question, I'd probably say Summer Sundown. It's just got a great. I love those small festivals that have an excellent lineup. That it's not overwhelming. It's not these crazy big festival to festival. Like we played a festival. I won't name it. This summer, it was going to be. We in our minds thought, oh my gosh, this is crazy. It's going to be huge, and it was so it just was like sensory overload. It was like we had this great time slot, and still there was like 10 other things happening, and we didn't have a huge crowd, and it was just kind of a little bit of a letdown, and kind of wondering like, man, I really like those festivals with one stage, and I think the music industry is starting to come back to that a little bit, or one or two stages with not much overlap. So that way you can the talent buyers can be so intentional and really curate the lineup, and I really love that when that happens. So what comes to mind is Dark Star Jubilee, which was in Thornville, Ohio. We played that last summer. It's well known, but it's not like crazy national, super well known. That just is a great festival with one stage. Just you don't have to worry about missing any music. You hear a band. There's a changeover, and you get to relax in a little bit. And the music is so tasteful, and just I love that. Roots and Blues in Columbia, Missouri might be my favorite, and I think word's getting out on that one for sure.
Oh, it's big. Yeah, it's gotten big.
That is just, whew, but I used to go to that festival when I was in college, when it was way smaller, and it's cool to see things grow, whether it's band or whether it's a scene or a festival, but to be able to have some perspective on it is really cool, and see where it started and then see where it's getting big. And the last one I'll mention is a festival in Boulder called Grapes and Grass that we played last year, and that one is it reminds me of Summer Sundown in its scope and size, but it's really great, and it's in downtown Boulder, and it's got a wine element, so that's where grapes come from.
Right.
But grass, very loosely, as it's not really bluegrass, it's just good music, and right. That was a hell of a time last summer of 2018 that we last played that one. Really have some good memories.
Right on. That sounds great. I will mention, you mentioned Summer Sundown and Moccasin Creek. We also, Poss Music Works, who presents this show, also puts on the Wonder Down Music Festival. And the Mighty Pines played year one. That's right. At that. We had three, and you played one. But so I just give a status update for the festivals. We haven't canceled any of them, and we won't postpone any of them. If we postpone them, it'll just go to the next year. And Moccasin Creek next year's would be basically the same weekend, be the 17th through the 20th of June. This year it's the 18th through the 21st of June. And then Summer Sundown, I feel pretty sure about Summer Sundown happening. That's September 18th through the 20th. That's also at Lake Sarah, at Lake Moccasin Creek, near Effingham, Illinois. And then we have Wonder Down Music Festival happening in Makanda, Illinois, down at the Touch of Nature Environmental Center, part of the SIU campus down there. And we haven't announced the lineup. The only bands we've announced are the Way Down Wanderers. Of course, that's their festival. And then we kind of spilled the beans on Chicago Farmer. He's always there, but he intends to be there again this year. So anyway, just wanted to get that out there. And I'm going to ask you to sing another song, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about the changes to next week's schedule. And do you have another song for us? Do you mind? We're getting a little long here. You holding up?
Yeah. You said my audio is kind of bad, but do you say another song?
Please, yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah, great.
All right, folks, this is Neil Salsich. He's the lead guitar player and lead singer for the Mighty Pines out of St. Louis, Missouri, and really, really great band. If you like if you like bluegrass inflected Americana music, these guys are doing it and doing it beautifully. So they have a new album out. Is it available yet, Neil? Is the album available?
Isn't quite yet available. Stay tuned for that in the coming weeks. We're slightly playing it by ear with the whole situation. But safe to say it'll be out sometime next month.
Okay.
We have 2 singles though released, and one that's coming out in about 2 weeks. So just keep your ears peeled for that one and enjoy the singles that we got out.
Cool. This is Neil Salsich.
All right. I've been holed up with plenty of time on my hands, and I said if I don't come out of this situation a better guitarist, then I'm not worth my salt. So something I've been wanting to learn a lot lately is finger picking, because I'm really more of a flat picker, and finger picking is like a whole nother world, really, a whole nother way of playing the guitar. So even a professional musician like me is sitting there for hours, like plunking away like a beginner. But it's starting to come together, and this is the first song that I learned in that style. Later, I realized it was probably the hardest song I could have picked, but I didn't know that at the time. So this is an old folk song that I got hip to from the movie Inside Llewyn Davis, and just a great movie. It's called Green Rocky Road, made famous by the late great Dave Van Ronk, and I've really enjoyed learning it. Baltimore, need no carpet on my floor. You come along, follow me, we'll go down to Galley. Out in green rocky road, promenading green. Tell me who you love, tell me who you love. See that crow up in the sky, he don't walk, he just fly, he don't walk, he don't run, keep on flapping to the sun. Out in green rocky road, promenading green. Tell me who you love, tell me who you love. Guitar. Soda cracker, does your mama chew tobacco? If your mama chews tobacco, hookah-dooka, soda cracker. Out in green rocky road, promenading green. Tell me who you love, tell me who you love. Tell me who you love, tell me who you love.
That was wonderful. You're frozen. Oh, there you go. Okay. Sorry, I'm eating spaghetti.
Thank you.
So we're doing this now instead of handshaking, I guess. Huh? I've been trying.
What's that?
We're
Sorry.
doing this now instead of shaking hands. We should be like the Japanese.
That's
so that
right.
we don't
It
spread the
feels
virus.
good. There's lots of.
One of the things that's been giving me hope for the festival season and just for us generally, our sanity and getting back to some sense of normal is watching the studies, the treatment studies for the COVID. Have you been following that at all? I read an article today.
No, not that part of it.
Yeah, I mean everyone's talking about the vaccine and the antibody serology tests, but I read an article this morning about the Gilead tests, and they have had pretty good success with their trials, and all the trials haven't reported yet, but the first one that came in, they had 115 serious cases, which has a mortality rate. Talking about people on ventilator, has a mortality rate of something like 66%, and only 2 of 115 died, and the rest recovered. So, pretty great result. And now, who knows? That might not be repeated. We'll see. But that, I think, to me, is the kind of thing that could give us hope, you and me, hope to get back on stage, and other people give them hope to actually get out and get together with people and watch a show. So let's hold our breath and cross our fingers and hope that comes to something.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm gonna be ready when we can get back on stage, man, and play. The timeline shifts all the time, and like I said, at first I thought it was a welcome respite from this crazy lifestyle that I live, but it's starting to shift, and I'm just so excited to get back out and play. And that's why today was so much fun, Bill. Thanks for making me, put on a clean shirt and maybe trim my beard a little bit. And I've truly been out in the sticks, but it's been great to kind of connect with you and play some music and just feel a little human connection.
Yeah,
great.
Well, I'm really glad to have you on the show. I appreciate your energy for the music and your love of the music. And I'll tell the listeners that I've had the Mighty Pines play at every festival I book. Plus, they've also played in Effingham. Welcome back anytime. If you get a chance to see them, you got to check them out. They're fantastic, high energy. Frequently, sometimes they play a slow song, as you heard Neil play earlier. But the new record's coming out in a few weeks, and you'll be able to get the new record probably online, I guess, at this point. But if all goes well, you can also get your tickets to the Summer Sundown Music Festival and see Neil and his compatriots in about 4 months. So, no, 5 months. All right.
I really hope so, man. I really hope so.
We're gonna see you there.
All right, Bill.
I appreciate you being part of the show. Thanks. All right. Thanks a lot, folks. Thanks for listening in. Again, next week we have a tentative, pretty sure, but a tentative at this point schedule. Kyle Tuttle will be on Monday, banjo virtuoso Kyle Tuttle. Then on Tuesday we have the great songwriter and Americana performer Mary Gaucher. On Wednesday we have Bloomington, Illinois' own Edward David Anderson, also a frequent participant in Poss Music Work events. On Thursday, my brother Matt Poss will be here, and we'll be swapping stories. And I got a lot of stories to tell on him, and he has some on me. And then on Friday, we're trying something new. It's called Fan Friday. If you want to be considered for Fan Friday, you can send me a message on Facebook and say, hey, I'm a fan, and this is where I'm from, and this is the music I'm listening to. And maybe I'll send you a message back and say, come on, and we'll get you on the show next Friday. All right, every day, weekday, 3 p.m. I'll probably see you this weekend. If you want to pop in, usually at 3 o'clock, I do something. If it's just maybe a few songs with JJ, or maybe it's just a few of my own songs. Last week I did a John Prine tribute, so we'll see. Anyway, I haven't thought of it yet. Have a great weekend. Stay sane.